All right, what's good, people? This is Uncle Hotep. As like I was saying, I've been trying to do some interviews, and I've got a good guest, a man Tarref. Say what's up to the people, Tarref.
How you doing, people? My name is Tarref Simon, ex-VA employee.
Yeah, the emphasis on that. X. Yeah, I wanted to bring him on because he told me an interesting story about the VA hospital, and I actually have, about the conditions, the working conditions, and the conditions of the hospital. I actually have a particular story about the VA involving my father. My father was he was a Vietnam veteran. And he didn't have any. He wasn't working or anything. Like, he did his own home business, so he used his veterans benefits for his medical needs. And when he was sick a couple times, and then he got sick, and they diagnosed it like a pneumonia in his lungs. So they gave him some pills, and he went back home. And I mean, he was all right for a while. But then, like a year later, they X-rayed his lungs and everything. Now, a year later, he got sick again, and what found out was that in his lungs he had a massive cancer, and he ended up dying from that. Now, could he have been saved if they had recognized that mass in his lungs, which was obviously photographed X-rayed? Yeah, he could, but that's sometimes you just don't get the proper needs and the proper what's the word for it? The proper look from the people that are working at the VA hospital. We actually ended up suing the VA hospital. We had a settlement, but it was through the state of Delaware. So, I mean, it ended up working out. Nothing major or anything, but they were at fault for that. I sincerely believe that if they would have looked at his X-rays a little bit more closely, he might even be living today. He was in his late 60s. I mean, I thought he still had a few years left. But I wanted to bring Tarref on because he filled me in on an interesting story about the VA hospital, and he's a former employee. So Tarref, go ahead, take it away, man.
Yo, how y'all doing? How you doing, Mr. Uncle Hotep? I appreciate you giving me a chance to tell my story because I'm a whistleblower. Just letting you know, the government don't like whistleblowers, especially under Barack Hussein Obama, our ex-president. He didn't, for what I've been told, he prosecuted underneath his term a whole bunch of journalists and whistleblowers, And I hope under Trump that he's given whistleblowers a chance, because he established a board recently within the past week or two to help out the VA whistleblowers with complaints against the VA and whatnot.
Oh, he did? He do that?
Yeah, he established some oversight board.
Okay, that's good.
Like an independent oversight board, It's brand new. I don't think it have been set up yet, but that's a good thing. And I frequently, every once in a while, I talk to different whistleblowers from different agencies, and they give me advice who to write to and be careful and whatnot. Because my case itself. By the way, I worked at Michael E. DeBakey Medical Center in Houston, Texas, which is like the second biggest federal building in the country itself. Right next to the Pentagon. Texas have the most veterans,
Yeah.
in the country. So. Sorry about that. I had to put it on mute.
Oh, no problem.
Texas has the second most veterans. Have the most veterans. Michael E. DeBakey is the second biggest federal building, right?
Right.
So Okay, they see. I found out by doing a show with See, when I reach out to people, the more I reach out, the more I learn. You
Right.
know, and come to find out, I mean, they see tens of thousands of veterans at that particular hospital. That's a lot, and
Yeah.
they treat the veterans every single day. You know, they have appointments. I mean, I'm a veteran myself. I'm not a combat veteran, but I'm a veteran myself, and I got my 5% preference, and went to 10% once I declared a disability.
What service were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
I was in the Army National Guard Aviation Unit.
Yeah. I was in the Air Force myself.
You was in the Air Force?
Yeah.
Oh, your guys don't do anything. Y'all, they give y'all hotel. When y'all go training, man, they give y'all hotels. We have to go live in the woods. I'm serious. I'm like, I couldn't believe that. We had some people attached to us. One time we had to go train.
Right.
In Hammond, Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a Ponchatoula's around there, and Ponchatoula known for strawberries, right? Growing strawberries. So we had to go in the woods and train. It wasn't nothing to me, you know.
Yeah.
We had our GP mediums and whatnot, and the Air Force guys. Oh my God! Oh. Your people was tripping. They was tripping. It's hot. I'm like, what? Come on, man. You know, but well, that's how it go. You know, so I mean, it's amazing how the different branches is with each other.
Yeah, they are.
You know, but I'll give you a brief little story about me. My name is Tarref Simon, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay. Joined the Army National Guard from '97 to 2003. When inside that 6 years of doing part time, I did active for a year and a half. You know,
Yeah.
with total active, it brings it up to 2 years inside the National Guard. I never been out the country. Always stayed home at the unit. You know, when they had me when they activated me and my battle buddies, right?
Right.
So, okay, I was learning my trade on how to work on helicopters. I was a 6-day golf. My MOS 6-day golf. That's an aircraft structural repairman, and that's similar to body and fender work on a car.
Right.
So we did that on helicopters with rivets and whatnot. You know, we used rivets to fix the cracks on the helicopters and whatnot, replace panels and whatnot. You know, OH-60 Blackhawks, OH-58. If I'm saying that correctly, because it's been a long time. No, UH. So OH or UH? 58 helicopters with the what you call that, the night vision on top of them.
Yeah, nods, whatever.
Yeah, we had those. That was one pilot helicopters, you know. They used that for scout. So I worked on those too. When I was in there, on one particular day, it was a sad day, man. We working. You know, I'm working on the helicopters, helping out my coworkers and whatnot. And somebody came through the door and said, "Man, a plane just hit the building. Some crazy ass pilot." Excuse me for cursing.
No problem.
All right. Some pilot that can't. Maybe he was drunk. You know, that's how it was being explained to us. Some dude hit a building. Like, what? So we ran in the break room, and I'm looking at it. You know, everybody, oh man, this dude crazy. You know, what's going on? How you do that? You know, how can you miss a building like that? You know. Right. So we went back out. You know, shaking our head, and we said, "Oh man, all those people, you know, that's messed up." So 15 minutes later, same person that told us the first time came back and told us the second time. We under attack. I'm like, what? We ran back to the break room, and that's when we saw the after effects of the second plane.
Okay.
So you know, yeah, you know what that infamous day was.
Yeah.
Man, my heart dropped. I became, oh man, I felt like the end of the world just happened. Like as if New York been nuked or something. You know, and especially seeing them people jump outside, off the buildings, man. I was like, oh my God. And, you know, I looked at my uniform what I had on. I said, wow, it's like it's really going down. Like I'm gonna be on the front line. You know, it's just reality hit me right then and there. You know, I mean, you don't. Who can you call? You know, you are the police.
Right. Right.
You don't want to protect the police. You know, it's like, so, wow. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna be on the front line because I already knew what it meant. You know.
Yeah.
So my heart went out to them people, man. I had I slept bad that night. The whole city, people walking around in a daze. You know, this is New Orleans. People walking around in a daze, sad. They had people crying. You know, they had people in our unit. Oh, who done it? Who done it? We gotta get them. You know, they had people that was gung ho. You know,
right,
and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? Rightfully so, gung ho. I said, you know, I was thinking about, we do have to get them. Mm-hmm. You know, got to have some type of retribution for what's done on that trap, day, you know. And so from that point on, orders was released, you know, and it was some type of training. I was doing something like working every month, every 2 months there, you know. I was between jobs, but when that happened, then orders was released, and that I went full time inside the National Guard.
Okay.
And I'm not a combat vet. I didn't go overseas because I ETS out right before this started stop loss.
Okay.
And that was in 2003, October 2003, when it's November they started it, stop loss. And my unit, they went overseas.
Yeah.
To a place 50 miles north of Baghdad called Balag, Iraq. If I'm saying that correctly. So they went there, and reports was coming back about certain things. Which I'll talk to you after the show, but yeah, it was terrible, man. You know, it was being bombed every single day. You know, artillery. Yeah. Not artillery, mortars, but the mortars only got to reach so far. So because their base was so far behind the front gate, the mortars wasn't reaching them. Every once in a while, they may have a Katyusha rockets hit them, knock out a truck or two. But nobody in my unit got hurt or killed.
That's good.
I think one or two people got hurt, but not killed. Which is a good thing. They all made it back home safely. They all made it back home safely. So that was a good thing. And my heart goes out to the veterans that passed over that was killed in action.
Yeah.
So okay. Katrina happened 2005, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was working at Avondale Shipyard. And I was doing my trade. I was doing structural, not what you call that, sheet metal repair.
Okay.
I was working there. Yeah, we was building LPD. Avondale was bought out by Lipton Corporation. Then Lipton was bought out by Northrop Grumman. Okay, Northrop Grumman is the ones that's building the aircraft carriers and the naval ships in general. So they bought us out, Northrop Grumman. They wanted the military contracts because the LPD-17s is half the size of a cargo ship and costs way more. I found out a cargo ship that we was building cost like maybe $300 million average, right? Maybe $400 million. The LPD-17 is half the size of the ship, less metal and whatnot. And less time to make, from what I understand, costed like $1 billion, close to $1 billion, man.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's what we was building for the Navy or whatnot. And every once in a while, you see commanders in Navy come on a yard. Commanders, captains come on a yard to inspect the ships to see how things was going. So Katrina happened. At first, I didn't know. I thought it was just gonna be another hurricane. To be honest with you.
Okay.
And me and my brother watching the television. My family left. Like, I have to say, about Saturday, about 2/3 of the city left. I gotta put this in the mind of your listeners that Louisiana, especially southeastern Louisiana, the income level is very low, and you have a high poverty line. You have a lot of people that's in poverty, and people is wondering why so many people was left in the city. Didn't leave. The reason why is people didn't have the money. It's have a lot of people that's below the poverty line. So, but we stayed. Me and my brother, and the hurricane hit, flooded out the city, and we was in the city. So we had to finagle our way outside the city to survive, to escape, and we helped save like 30 people, which was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Made it to northern Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana. From Monroe, we went to Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Houston, I ain't gonna lie, they was showing people love from New Orleans. It was. Texas was, That's a state of George Bush. And George Bush, when he released that money, that aid money, a whole bunch of it went to Texas, man. So people was getting free apartments and whatnot, And at that time, it was just strange. It was just, for a whole city to be pack up and move to another city, and you see the same people you went to school with, or you didn't see people like in 20 years, you saw, like in Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart was a meeting spot, right? So I'm like, wow, man, we're in Houston. So I got various jobs when I was in Houston and whatnot. And I finally got on with the VA after I went to Lone Star Community College. And I was learning my trade, HVAC and whatnot. So I got on with the VA first with the on-the-job training program through Vote Rehab, which is regional office. And because I was at 50% disability at that time, so that allowed me to go through Vote Rehab for training.
Okay.
From when I was in that, I was in the AC shop, and I used to work with the co-workers or whatnot. And from 2010 2012, they told me to apply for the boiler room. And I applied for it, and I got on. And I was thankful for them, at least looking out for me. And
when you got hired, did you think that was your career job you had going?
Yes. I mean, at $24 an hour and some change, it was a career job. I mean, I didn't want to leave the job.
Okay.
But I didn't know the politics was that vicious that I was dealing with. I had some supervisors before that was pricks, but my supervisor I had, man, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. I appreciate the fact he gave me a chance, but just the mind games he was playing with us, how he was trying to pit co-workers next to each other and whatnot. Yeah, I gotta put this in context so your listeners can understand. The money was good, but when you have somebody playing mind games with you and trying to make you do certain things, against your own integrity.
Right.
That's you in a way you kind of stop thinking about the money, unless you was raised to deal with that, to kiss butt or whatnot. But we fell out, because I wasn't a backstabber like he wanted me to be. He used to tell me things, stop talking to them group of guys that's in energy control or whatnot. I was like, yeah, this is weird, I mean, I'm a grown man, you're a grown man, so you can't tell me who to talk to, who not to talk to. Even when I'm off work, like he'll get mad when he see me talking to him.
Really?
Man, that's the least of it. So, so basically we started getting into it. He started setting me up, what you call that, messing with the valves in the plant, and I had to go around and make sure the valves that was supposed to be off, stay off, and the valves that was supposed to be on, stay on. He do things like that. He messed with different. They had so many components in the plant, it was ridiculous. We had 4 boilers, right? We had them, I'm trying to remember, 30,000 ton, BTU? Wait. We had 4 of them, So, the boilers produce steam for the building itself. Okay, the steam, which is superheated heat, it produces steam. It goes to the building to keep the building warm when it mixes with the ACUs, the air conditioning units, right? The air handlers units at the building, right? To temper the temperature, right? To bring it down to a certain set point, or bring it up to a certain set point, so the patients can feel comfortable, right? So, and also it gives warmth for the showers and the faucets or whatnot. So, okay, that's what was done. They told me, said, before I got on, they said, watch when you don't have no water for the boilers. The boilers need water to produce steam, right? So watch when you have to drag out the big hose. So it happened. Bam. All right. No water to the building itself. The reason how we know there's no water in the building, we do our rounds. We check the gauges, the water gauges on the equipment and whatnot. You got this thing. I forgot the name of it because it's been 2 or 3 years. But it's the water. They preheat the water before it goes into the boilers. It brings the water up to 212. Then it sends it to the boilers. Okay? Because you don't want no cool water in the boilers because it's so hot. You don't want to cause no explosion or implosion. So it preheats the water and it brings it to the boilers itself. So, okay, we see the gauge on that goes down, then we know that we don't have that much water. But besides that, this is how we really know that the water stopped when we start getting calls from the nurse station, right? Energy control will send the calls over to us once they start doing their rounds around the facility, checking pressure gauges, whatnot, oxygen tanks and whatnot. They do it like every hour, every 2 hours. They make their rounds. So they say, we're transferring the phones over to you. So okay, no problem. So we put our log sheet to take the calls from the nurse stations or from the janitors, whatever, all the clerks. So nurse stations start calling. Oh, we don't have no water. We don't have no faucet. The ice machine stopped working. The toilet's not flushing. Once we start hearing that, we know there's no water coming into the building. The city of Houston brings water to us, right, through the pipeline. They have a valve. They have a valve that's on our property, right? that separates our pipeline from their pipeline. Their pipeline and our pipeline is about 20 inches in diameter, size of a car tire. It's very huge. So one particular day, I decided to go check it, because I had an opportunity to go outside and go check this particular valve that was like, our building was maybe about, 50 yards away from the pipeline, from the valve itself. And it had a co-worker in there with me that we both learned on ballers ourselves, working on them. He said, I said, man, I want to go take a look at it, watch the ballers, because you can't leave the ballers unless you have, a replacement or whatnot, because that's federal guidelines. But since I had somebody there, I said, man, I want to go find out why we always having these problems with no water. I mean, they should at least change the valve. Something, there's got to be something going on. So I went outside and I took a look at it. I'm looking at it, and my coworker, the other coworker from Energy Control, he was out there. He's messing with it. I said, man, please. I said, man, what's going on? Why is this always happening? Because I figured it's the VA. They got all the money. I saw, bro, they spend $1 million a month on energy alone.
Really?
$1 million a month. Yes, on energy for electricity. I don't think that's combined gas and water. That's just electricity. Them chillers that we have, them big old chillers, man, they suck up a lot of power. They 4160, 4,160 volts. So them Yorks. So man, I'm looking at the valve. I'm helping him out. He said, man, he told me, man, the reason why I get clogged up is because of mud in the system. I said, what? Mud in the system? He said, yes. That's what's stopping it. It's compacted with mud. And I'm looking at it. I said, dude, all you see, he said, man, I'm serious. It popped on me, and he was telling the truth. My strip became muddy. It splashed out the valve as he wriggling the mud loose, right, with the valve handle. It went throughout the system. Once you clear that particular line, what happens is it creates other problems. It pushed the water through the system even further, the mud, and through the system, and through them smaller pipes going to the faucets and toilets and showers and the ice machines. So now you get new work orders. You get people calling from all the workstations sometimes, or some of them, because you got mud in their system. So people have to turn on the faucets and let it run because mud have to come through it, right? You let the water clear. You have to unclog the toilets or whatnot because you got mud in the toilets. They have to let the showers run for I've been told all this, man, but to restart the ice machine. So we have to do all that. So I was thinking, I have to back up from there. And I had asked them while we was out there messing with the valve itself. I said, bro, man, please tell me they got a filter for this hospital. Like a main filter before, something to treat the water before it goes to the hospital. They say, no, it don't.
They didn't have any treatment. There's no filter.
I'm not gonna say any treatment, but it has. But the particular different, like the ice machines. Majority of the ice machines had filters.
Yeah.
Dental had its own filter, and the group that cleaned the tubes, the surgical equipment, they had their own filter. But everything else was just wide open, man. Everything was wide open. So at that time, I'm like, damn, that's messed up,
Yeah.
I didn't know how serious it was. What contaminated water can lead to. So me and my supervisor, wasn't seeing eye to eye. We had to go to mediation because I had a funny suspicion because some of the things he used to say around me, I figured, I was thinking, I think this dude was in my medical files. I think some of the managers were in my medical files. Because, talking to, I was a patient there also. I used to go on the 6th floor, which is the mental health department. And I used to go up there and tell them about my problems and my deep dark secrets, and that to me that was just a relief to go talk to people and share with them. So they put your information in a computer or whatnot. I come to find out that if a person know your name, your social security number, anybody can go in the computer and look at your records.
Okay.
So in a way, because I was told that before, and I'm listen to him talk and whatnot, I'm like, I think these people were in my records. I accused them of going in there. I didn't really have evidence. You talking to certain people and they calling you crazy.
Right. Which
is a mind game they play on me. Like, you don't know me. I don't hang out with you. Why you gonna call me crazy? Unless you went in my records and some of the things I told a psychiatrist, that's between me and a psychiatrist, it was for to help me. But if you got a layman, right?
Yeah.
Go on your records. Somebody off the street, right? They don't know any better. That never been trained on this. They go and read something about your health records or your psych records. They're gonna think you're crazy because they're not trained, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, man, that bothered me, man. Like, what the hell? And I looked around at these folks. I'm like, in my mind, it was like, what gave y'all the right to do that? It was just hurting, man. It was hurting. So I accused them of going on my records or whatnot. I heard rumors that they do it, and they had an ex-manager told me that they do it. Because most of the managers I came across, or some of the managers I came across, they never went on the 6th floor to get psych help. It was always the average worker that wasn't managers would go on the 6th floor to get help, or the patients. So, okay. They moved me to the HVAC shop. They took me out the border plant. They moved me to the HVAC shop. And while I was working in it now, I was back to my original trade, learning my trade, working on walk-in refrigerators and ice machines and whatnot, AC units, with the, all my little equipment that they gave me, they was buying for me. And while I was working, I was learning different things, I was going to the mechanical bay 8, in which the water goes to, in a pipeline, goes to mechanical bay 8, which is in the basement of the VA facility, and it splits out. And it goes throughout the system, right? Mm-hmm. With the steam itself and the other lines, electrical lines and whatnot. So they have no main filter. I've been in there. They had no main filter. J. Cole, Joint Commission was coming through. And when Joint Commission come through, what happens is they panic. Because, Joint Commission can have the power to shut down a hospital. So I had to do inventory on all of the ice machines. The item numbers, the VIN numbers. So I had to go through the ice machines, and I wrote down the numbers on the back of them and whatnot. And also the ones that didn't have filters or whatnot. I had to turn that in. The ice machine on the 5th floor, the OR room. It was a brand new ice machine, and the 5th floor staff didn't inform us that they was getting a new ice machine, because we were supposed to be the ones to do it, to make sure everything was properly done. This ice machine didn't have no filters on it, so it was getting that straight contaminated water. They used this ice machine for organs and whatnot. Now I've been told that when they put the organs in a bucket, in the ice coolers with the ice, the organs is wrapped, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But also they use the ice for patients too, to cool down bodies. But still in all, they should have a filter on it. So I'm saying, man, this is terrible. Ice machine without no filter.
Yeah.
Knowing how dirty this water is, and the erosion that is causing to the pipes, which make it doubly worse. Just like what you saw what happened in Flint. So, man, okay. I had to leave because I was shunned. They basically blackballed me. They had people stop talking to me and stop giving me assistance because I accused them of going in my records, and they found out that I knew about the water, how bad the water was. So they ran me out of there. I'm being honest with you. I quit, man. I needed peace and quiet. And I've been told, when I was left, that they were spreading rumors about me all over the place, man. So I left Houston. But I have to tell your audience this and tell you this, that I was quiet as a mouse because I heard what happens to whistleblowers. I watched stories on whistleblowers, how they were set up or whatnot. So I was quiet as a mouse because at that time I didn't really have evidence. Only thing I was just a witness. I said, man, I don't know what to do, So I really don't have no evidence. But I was seeing things like I was being followed by the police and whatnot.
Really?
Yes. Some weird things. And people asking me strange things about where the dope is at. Can you bring me to go to this house to get, some dope? And I didn't dress like her. My pants wasn't sagging. I didn't have no go. My pants wasn't sagging. I was neatly dressed, and I was noticing a pattern, was going on. And they was always trying to get me to sell my medicine, my pain medicine for my back and whatnot. Hey man, you go to VA, right? I said, yeah. I said, bro, you got any pain medicine? I said, yeah, I got something. You sell me something, give me something. I'm like, no. I didn't think nothing of it at that time. But once I started noticing a pattern and paying attention to news, that's a crime. You can't sell your prescription medicine. And that never used to happen to me before, where you had a whole bunch of people. I had a whole bunch of people asking me. This is going on like at least once or twice a week. That's just something that where people just start a conversation with you. Hey, Uncle Hotep. Yeah, how you doing, my brother? Oh, my back hurting. Say, bro, you got any pain medicine you can sell me? Or we can swap out and this and that and the other. People just don't start conversations like that.
Right.
So, I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Hold up. And I start putting two and two together.
Mm-hmm.
I say, you know what? I think I'm being shut up. And that's when it hit. No matter, the first year, it was like I was quiet as a mouse because I was afraid. I didn't really have evidence. But at the same time, it was messing with me because I knew about it, the terrible conditions. But I didn't really have evidence other than just being a witness. So I stepped out on faith. I started writing media or whatnot. I started writing people. And when I got my emails back with saying, you need evidence. I'm like, damn, I have no evidence. What do I go to? So, it's not like I could create my own evidence, But through the power of the universe, or the creator, man, when it's a will, is a way. And by me talking to these people, I started coming across people that was giving me insight on what to do, who to write. One person said write the White House and Office of Special Counsel, right? And I wrote them. And another person said write the EPA, and I wrote them too. And over time, that became my evidence. Because when the EPA, in a way, they kind of messed up. But they messed up in a good way for me and for the veterans.
Okay.
The EPA jumped on the city of Houston to fix the problem.
Okay.
The problem was, the reason why it was happening is they had a hole that developed over time in a pipeline.
Okay.
And that mud was seeking in. They finally fixed it. Now, how long that hole existed for, I do not know. But I tell you this, I heard rumors. This back in 2012 to 2013, 2012 2014 when I went active, right?
Right.
So this had to be before 2010 because I was seeing rumors that this been going on for a long time. So by me picking up the phone and calling EPA, EPA jumped on the city of Houston, right? In the information that they sent me saying they contacted the city of Houston, and the city of Houston fixed the problem. It was a hole that developed, and the mud was going in. I said, yeah, that's good. I didn't know at the time how important that was when they gave me the information, right? Because that's showing that the VA was wrong in not jumping on that case sooner,
right,
and not at least having a filter. Because, well, I'm gonna get back to that later. Okay, they jumped on it. I usually print my stuff off the computer, right, and save it, make hard copies. So I said, well, at least I got that email, and I kept it. I went back on the computer, man, to print it out, to let people know what I saw, what I read. The EPA rescinded the message, recalled the message they sent me, right? They recalled it.
Yeah.
Of the proof what they gave me, because that would have tied in to other cases, which at that time I didn't know. By doing my own investigation and hooking up with people like you and other people,
yeah,
they was the ones helping me out because I'm ignorant to this. I didn't really know nothing about contamination laws and this and that and the other. But you have good people that's out here on the planet. When you ask, people will help you out. Now I came across some people that was just pretending to help me, and it wasn't. It was almost like they were sent to me to collect information from me and to lead me down the wrong path. Okay, bam! I found out they had a case that a woman's suing the Michael E. DeBakey Hospital, right, for 1.5 to $2-3 million. Her husband died in the hospital. Became ill in the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. Guess from what? He got ill from MRSA, staph infection. Okay?
Yeah.
A guy shared that with me, right? We saw it on Google. He Googled it for me and he sent it to me. Her name is, the man's name was Larry Love. I think he was an ex-Air Force guy. And, he suffered, he got in a car wreck and it did damage to his spine, and he was treated at that center. Now I have to say this, that the VA, from what I've been told, especially Michael DeBakey, have the best brain surgeons, the best birth centers, and the best spinal doctors. They got the best, bar none. But okay, he died. He got infected with MRSA. And when I spoke to his wife on the phone, she told me about this, how he suffered for like a year afterwards, after he had surgery there. It's just, the infection just ate him up. And I say, me and the guy, when we discovered that, he said, that's why they try to get you, Mr. Simon, Tarref. That's why they're so concerned about you, because your case could tie into his case and other cases. And that was the only case I came across. So I send my information out to different journalists and whatnot, Military Times, people that's leaning to the left, people to the leaning to the right. I didn't care. This is a bipartisan issue, right? And I get some response every now and then. So they had certain people start, for what I've been told, that I'm start doing freedom of information release, what you call it, FOIA request. Mm-hmm. So, which is going to take some time, because they can hold that up as long as they want. But the more people that do FOIA requests, then, from what I've been told, it helps speed up the process. So, okay, so that's being done right now. I wrote the IG, I wrote the Joint Commission, I wrote different news organizations, newspapers, independent journalists. I wrote What else I wrote? I wrote activist groups that deal with clean water. I wrote this woman by the name of Erin Brockovich. I wrote her. She's overwhelmed with contaminant of water throughout the country. You know, I wrote the Young Turks. I wrote InfraWars or whatnot, and so on and so on. I wrote my Senator Bill Cassidy, William Cassidy, right, and he jumped right on it. It only took him like 3 weeks total to jump right on it. You know, compared to when I wrote my Congressman Cedric Richmond, Representative Cedric Richmond, and he sent the information to Sheila Jackson Lee. She have yet to contact. It's like, I don't know what's going on. So over time, I started realizing certain things about this is very political.
Right.
You know, Houston is a democratically controlled city. I see myself as a progressive, but not one of those progressives that follow the group's mantra. You know, I'm an independent thinking person also, you know. I know what's going on the world stage with different characters like George Soros and whatnot. I already understand that. So, I'm by me talking to people, you know, family members and the people that was helping me out, which I got very little help, to be honest with you. I started realizing that I said, man, this is a cover-up. I said, they don't want this to get out because what that's going to say about the it's bigger than what you think it is. It's because you're dealing with contaminated water that been allowed to go on at the hospital for a long time. God knows how long. Nobody picked up the phone and mean to tell me at least call the city of Houston to find out the problem before I got there and I left because I was harassed out. No one picked up the phone. It took me to pick up the phone and call the EPA. You know? And that just boggled my mind because you have these GS-12s, GS-13s, GS-14 people that's making all this money, over $100,000 a year, with their master's degrees and PhDs, right? But, which I'm not knocking them for having it, I'm for higher education, but I'm like thinking, like, you couldn't pick up the phone and call, you know? And they couldn't pick up with all that money they got in the budget, bro, they couldn't pick up the phone and get a water treatment plant, station to treat the water, knowing that this shit is going on. It just, they spent millions of dollars for new chillers, right? To install New York chillers, right? They spent millions of dollars to install solar panels on top of the building. They spent millions of dollars to make a new plant for the generators, right? The backup generators. They spent new millions of dollars for a new building to be attached to the VA. Why they can spend $100,000, $200,000 for water treatment? You know, it just boggles my mind. I'm like, is this beyond? I mean, what is this, incompetence? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I don't want to go into conspiracy theory, but that is crazy. You know, it still boggles my mind, and they're still trying to cover it up. They're still telling people I'm this grown employee and whatnot, which I have to get into also to let your listeners know how I found out that these so-called activists is really, to me, paid shills.
Right.
They are paid shills. The NAACP, I think, should be just dismantled. You know,
you got that right.
Man, I was treated like crap on the phone with these people, man. As they playing me like, it's like the VA got to them and told them something about me or something, man. I said, man, I witnessed something on the VA, at the VA grounds, then, you know, all this strange stuff started happening to me. oh, you crazy, you know, they didn't tell me I was crazy, they just hung up the phone in my face. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, you're supposed to be down with the people, you know, whatever.
Right.
But it wasn't that case, man. It was just, you know, people telling me you can't fight the government, they'll set you up, this and that and the other. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, I feel like they're already trying to set me up. So I might as well go do the right thing, you know? So, and I just thought about it. I said, I can't believe this. It's like I'm public enemy number one. But I tell you one thing, with the power of prayer and meditation, it works, man. The power of prayer and meditation works. So I have to take myself out my body, right? Figuratively speaking. And I look at the stars and say, man, you know, God, why you put me through this, you know? And I just came upon the thought that this have to be done. Right. I have to do this. I have to do this. If nobody else didn't do it, so I guess it's you, Tyree. I stopped looking for groups. I stopped looking for like support, like talking about it. Because sometimes when I look for the support with my case, I come across people that didn't have my best interests at heart.
Right.
You know, it was as if there was paid shills or something. You know, and I start really leaning on my own self. And by me leaning on my own self, I made it this far with my case. And Bill Cassidy jumped on it. You know, and I sent him, Chuck Grassley, who else? Al Green, Homeland Security, Joint Commission, my package, you know, and Donald Trump. I wrote President Obama too, and I sent Donald Trump, and also I've been reaching out to other whistleblowers and whatnot, right? So, man, so that's what I'm doing. I'm using the system. But if this case don't get out immediately, I mean, in the news, what can happen is they can bury it.
Right.
Just like the Office of Special Counsel did. You know, they didn't want to touch it. I'm like, talk to the lawyer on the phone, man. I said, man, I sent you the information. What you think? Well, you told us that they could have fixed the problem. You know, if they fixed the problem, then it's no more problem. I say, man, that's not the case about them fix the problem. I say, the case is contamination of the patients. You probably had patients die from this. Ain't you gonna investigate that? Well, we don't really do that. You know, I didn't think about recording the guy or anything like that. But like, he knew. I heard in his voice that he knew that it was wrong. But because it was, it's like he didn't want to do it. Like, almost like there was protected might be debate. You know, medical center, the VA hospital. You know, like he didn't want to touch it. You know, I'm like, damn. I wrote the Office of Government Accountability. I only spoke to them once. They have yet to call me back. But the IG, they still investigating it, right? Yeah. Man, I just don't know. But I gotta keep on pushing forward and forward and forward. But I tell you this. I tell you some of the strange things was happening to me. Before the election, when I used to do Google searches on my computer, man, it was like I get certain names to pop up with other whistleblowers, right? And when Trump was elected, I noticed something changed. So when I did my Google searches, again, when he was elected, right? Mm-hmm. I noticed something changed, that I'll start getting the results that I needed. It's as if somebody switched from off to on and was helping me out behind the scenes. You know? It was worrying. And then I start, you know, then what Ellis Jones was saying was making sense, that you do have a battle going on in the intelligence community. Okay? And I kind of picked that up. Man. They had some other crazy things happen to me, but I don't want to say. But I kind of picked that up. I say something. I think they have some people actually want me to succeed. But you still got a large group out there who don't want me to succeed, that want me to entrap me and throw me in prison or whatever. So I can't worry about that, because what I have to worry about, what I have to accomplish, is get my case out there and helping out the vets. Now, if that takes them, maybe once they throw me in prison for something that they got me on like 2 or 3 years ago, so be it. At least I'll be in prison because I did something right.
Right.
I mean, because you must understand this. I gotta tell this to you and your audience. It's like, this can lead to a big case. This is big, from what I understand. This is big. Remember a month or 2 ago, Camp Lejeune had to reward those Marines that was on the base billions of dollars?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Okay. Got all these vets that go to the hospital. 10,000 a month, from what I understand. 10,000. I think they see 130,000 within a year's time of patients, right? Of people going to that particular hospital. Contaminated water. You had that woman's husband died in that hospital, right? Larry Love. God knows how many other people died in the hospital with MRSA. That's if they wrote down MRSA. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a case. That's a big case for a big old class action lawsuit. Then I have a case because I was, being harassed. I'm a whistleblower. So I have a case. Then I heard that, they harassed other whistleblowers themselves. Right? So they should have a case. So I made it this far, and I'm a supporter of Trump, and I'm a progressive that support Trump, So I'm like, man, I just hope this comes out one day, And I've been at this for years and years and years. Now, I have to tell this to you, man, and your listeners.
Okay.
I like listening to you speak on YouTube.
Yeah.
I came across you last year. Before I came across you, see, I was trapped in that paradigm, in that African American paradigm for years. But I always thought maybe it had something else outside that paradigm, but I couldn't really come out of it, right? I used to read literature on Leonard, they had this group called Leonard LaRouche group off the East Coast. I used to read their literature a lot. And I said, man, this guy is pretty deep. I listen to him on television and whatnot. Okay. I just started noticing certain things. Okay, when I was watching you, before I started watching you, I used to watch this dude on YouTube called The Evil Oyo, right? I watch him every now and then. And he was just, he was vicious, bro. He's like you, but times 10 you.
Right.
Okay? This dude was vicious on African Americans. He was a Nigerian brother, And he was just vicious on African Americans. He was talking about how, the neoliberals control African Americans through victimization complexes and things like that.
Right.
And I was taking some of the offense he was saying, but at the same time, I say I'm gonna still give this dude a chance because I feel like he's telling the truth on certain things. And I came to realize he was telling the truth. I used to listen to Bobby Hemmett,
Yeah.
And Bobby Hemmett used to say certain things like that too. And Dr. Phil Valentine I listened to. I listened to Alex Jones or whatnot, Joe Scouse, Mike Cernovic, all that. And I started breaking out this paradigm and come to find out by me doing yoga exercises and listening to Sadhguru that when you're born, you are given these what you call that perimeters of thinking, perceptions,
yeah,
right? So if you're African American and you're born in the South, so you're gonna think like a Southerner, like you're from the South, like you're from New Orleans. You got your own set parameters. So if a person call you certain names or use certain things, it's designed to control your behavior, right? the thing is what you want to do. You want to break that behavior. You want to break those buttons and come outside that box of control. You know, like how can you control a group of people? You know, what is, like they had to do. Dr. Phil Fantine say what black people say all the time. What's happening, man? How you doing, Brian? You know what's going on? Hey, and he made a box. He said, "These are the words that they use to control you." You know. And you know, I read and I looked at the words around the box. I said, yeah, that's how African Americans speak, you know, and whatnot. Say, you must break this box. You have to come outside this box, you know. So I had to challenge myself. I had to stop having a victim complex that was given to me by birth, right?
Right.
Not knowing that my family, my friends was indoctrinated in it, right? So I watch television. I'm on YouTube channels like you and other people, right? To come outside that box. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I know I still got them. I'm still trapped in a box to a certain way, but I'm still coming outside the box. The reason why I have to bring that up is because one thing I did notice when they was trying to set me up or whatnot. What they do is, I'm an African American male, so they knew certain things about me, right? I started noticing people was asking me certain things about different things that happened last year with the police shootings and whatnot. And I started noticing pattern also. Now, I have to remind your listeners and you that I am a whistleblower. And as a whistleblower, you got to be very careful. You can't say the average thing what a citizen says, right? So I started noticing, man, people, you know, they have the cell phones out around me and whatnot, on their shirt pocket and whatnot. And then, hey, what you think about them police? You know, this and that and the other. I'm like, oh, wow, man, that's sad, man, you know. And I started noticing that maybe I'm being set up again. Like they're trying to paint me as being a militant. You know, a black militant or a militant in general. Right?
Uh-huh.
Because they had, like 2 years ago, I went to a party. Right? And these people I knew. And they was asking me certain things in that party too, pertaining to like black pride. And I wasn't really, buying it because I was on a spiritual path. They brought me, one guy said, man, hey, man, you want to take a picture? He said, yeah, man. So we stood in front of a Trinidadian flag. He turns around and looks at me, man. He said, raise up your hand in a black power sign. We standing in front of a Trinidadian flag. We had a Trinidadian party. Standing in front of the flag. And he's next to me. He raised up his hand in a black power sign. He said, raise up your hand in a black power sign. I looked at him because the way he said it, and I'm in front of this flag, and I'm like, I know a little something about CGI. I watch Alex Jones, I watch these different people dealing with conspiracy theory. I say, bro, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I am not. So, because the way he said it, he said, man, yeah, do that, and we're going to take a picture of it using your phone. And there's going to be something to remember us about, right? I said, what? So I said, I'll throw up a peace sign. I'll throw up a peace line. I'll put the biggest smile on my face I can put, right? And as they taking a picture with my camera, they had another person on the side from my vision to my right was taking a picture of us too. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And I threw up a peace sign. I'm like, man, so I took my phone, I started sending pictures to my sister or whatnot. I don't know if she still has the pictures. But I started thinking to myself. I said, man, you know what? With CGI, they can do a lot. They can take the Trinidadian flag and they can replace it with another type of flag. Right? And I didn't give no Black Power salute at all, because that was crazy. And I know that I already know I'm being set up. So, man, I had to do a lot of soul searching. You know, I started realizing that I felt like I was being set up. That some of these so-called activists, some of these so-called leaders in the African American communities being paid off, because this happened when I was in Houston. And I used to go to these African meetings, right? These dealing with ancient Kemet, right?
Right.
Egyptians. So before all this happened, when I used to go to these meetings, the poetry meetings from like when I started going in the 90s, you know, by me reading Leonard LaRouche and whatnot and other economic people, and I used to always bring up, I say, well, no, we're going to start talking about, you know, open up businesses, you know, maybe develop in different parts of Africa, putting our money together, open up banks, and, you know, maybe one day, you know, trying to create a nuclear power plant in Nigeria or the Congo. Well, that can fully employ people will become doctors and lawyers. You know, most of them people inside the meetings didn't want to hear that, bro.
Right.
It was like when it came down to economics and machines and building your own stuff or trying to develop Africa to compete on the world stage or creating wealth in the black community. It's like they didn't want to hear it. It was like, I've been to different meetings. It was like, let us talk about how the white man got their foot on our neck. Let us talk about black love with the melanin that's inside of you, and you get from the center of the universe with the dark melanin, the carbon coming into you, that making you more spiritual than the other people and all that. That's all I was hearing, you know. And at one time, I was brainwashed by it until I woke up and I found out that was really BS. Because first of all, it was man that created the different races. I'm not talking about the story of Yaku, but I'm just saying, through our perception of millions of years beyond the planet, 1,000 years recently, right, the last 2,000-3,000 years, it was man that introduced the concept of different races. Right. It wasn't God, okay? It wasn't the creator. And that's how you can have racism came about. The first known racism was in India with the Aryans that invaded the Davidians and whatnot, right? And you made it different castes. Then you have the modern day racism that was established in the last 500, 600 years, you know, but that was based on economics or whatever, right? So I had to put things in context and realize that this is man-made. And all these feel-good stories they tell you about, you get this one group being superior and all these other group being superior than this other group, yellow pride, brown pride, black pride, white pride. All that is, that's their belief system, you know. But that was developed by man. So I had to get outside that paradigm. And once I started coming outside that paradigm, I started realizing about the control they have on society itself and how they play black and white against each other, how they play the Hispanics against black and white, Muslims and Christians against each other and whatnot. So from my point of view right now, Uncle Hotep, I see a massive manipulation going on. And I see how they destroyed Africa, the power elite, and how they destroyed Eastern Europe, and how they trying to destroy Russia also through the playing this what you call identity politics.
Yeah.
Where they try to pit like the Slavic people against the Western Europeans and whatnot. You know, trying to pit the Serbian people, the Ukrainian people against the Slavic people and whatnot. The Catholics against the Orthodox Christians and whatnot. The Muslims against the Orthodox Christians and whatnot. Your Tatars or whatever. And I'm saying it now, and I'm saying it's here now, and I've been told this some years ago by reading Leonard LaRouche and watching Alex Jones and watching Bobby Hemmett and other people that it was going to come here. So right now what we got going on, which I see is like an Arab Spring, but it's American Spring, you know. But it's like almost like they're trying to start something here. And I felt like through what I was going through, as if that I was being used in a certain way to take the attentions off the contaminated water and make it a race issue by, like, as if somebody was controlling the people that was being sent to me to try to get me to say racial things against white people or Hispanics or Vietnamese or Africans, right? And I didn't go for it, you know? So I started noticing things, like every time something happened on the news media, like when they have police shootings or whatnot, people will come around me and talk about it all the time, you know? Or if you had something with the immigration thing, people are talking about it all the time. As if they're trying to get me to say something bad about it or something good about it or whatever. You know, and I just give them the awful wall answer, you know, because for what I understand by watching Dick Gregory, they say how they breaks down how they get a whistleblower. You know, they destroy your credibility in the community. They destroy your credibility in the community first, then they put down the hammer on you. So just say they set me up one day, and I go to trial because they spread rumors about me. The jury won't be fair. They'll be hating my guts because they'll think I'm racist, or they'll think I'm a drug dealer, or they'll think me whatever, right? So I want to have a fair trial. So that'd be a win-win for the people out to hush me, right? Now, I know I went a little bit far on that, but that's my thinking of trying to put things together on what's going on with me in my life right now, knowing that I'm a whistleblower and knowing that my case can have a major impact on the VA system itself, not just my baby. We got, I mean, this could be hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars lawsuit. I mean, if my case ever get out, and by me dealing with people like you and other journalists and whatnot, one journalist told me, when I told him about my story and I want to talk to him on the phone about a month ago, he said, man, the reason why they're doing this to you, Mr. Simon, is because when you have a problem like that, when you have water, you know, contaminated water like that, mud in the system, they were supposed to announce that. He said they probably didn't even announce it. Which makes sense, because if they announced it, then people in the city of Houston or surrounding counties would have put two to two together and start thinking about their relatives, right, that passed away or got sick with MRSA, and say, oh, that's how they probably got sick. And they probably would have came together and filed a lawsuit. So it's amazing from my own experience, sir, how they can turn things around and make it seem like it's something else to detract from the real story. And I think what was going on for me for the past 3 years was that I was slowly being set up to be one day thrown in a prison to rot, to left to rot probably until people forget about it. And you know, I've been at this for 3 years now. 2 years solidly writing letters constantly.
Okay.
First year I didn't really do anything because I was afraid that I used to hear stories, you know. I used to hear stories, man. I was in the military, man. So you don't want to go against the Uncle Sam, man. They'll make you, you know, they could disappear you and stuff like that. So man, I was afraid. I was afraid. But they saw something in me that I didn't see. They saw potential inside that I didn't see the potential. So I guess that's why I figured that the weird things I was experiencing, people constantly asking me what a dope at and stuff like that. I think that was part of the game of trying to get me to say something or do something, or they can use something to blackmail me with, you know, have something over my head, you know, and throw me in prison for a good long time or whatever. So, and on top of that, you know, our lives is very important. My life is very important, but I have to put this in context. The mass of people's lives is very important.
Right.
And God can use you. I don't know if you believe in a creator, but it's your right if you believe or if you don't believe. But I know in a creator. The creator puts you in certain situations where the creator uses you to save other people, even though it might be at your own detriment, you know. But I can't really worry about myself, you know, because the problem that Michael E. DeBake is that they got a culture of silence, a culture of terror, where people are afraid to speak about what's going on in the hospital. You know, I'm pretty sure they got a waitlist scandal going on now, but they are so corrupt and so powerful, man. And I feel to believe that the monies they had missing, which I found out they had missing from the union, also from the workers itself, the staff, the managers, the millions of dollars. I think that money probably went outside into the black community and the other communities to pay off people. That's my opinion. Because I wasn't really getting no help. It was like these so-called civil rights activists or activists in general, you know, it was just for show. Just for show. But they're quick to tell you, they're quick to get you to say something against the government or other people. Or they're quick to say, oh man, the black man suffering, this, and that, and the other. We got to worry about taking down these institutions and this and that and other. But when it came down to it, when you're dealing with contaminated water, when you're dealing with radiation leaking into water, like in southern Florida with the plant, you had that tunnel collapse in California. You had the crisis in Flint, Michigan. You had the other crisis throughout the land with water, contaminated water, you know, power shortages, cities going black because of power shortages. You got what else? All the conditions on these military bases that have contaminated soil and other things. You hardly see people protesting them about, right? Because when it comes down to it, you know, for real change, you don't see these activists out there. You see them talking about, you know, school vouchers, the voucher program. You see students standing up yesterday turning their back against Bessie divorce. But you're not going to see them students protesting, helping the people in Flint to protest to get their water, clean water, right? You're not going to see them do it because it's too hard. They're going to do easy things, you know? You know, oh, the police is racist, blah, 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 blah. That's what they'll say. And they'll protest and they have picket lines and everything. But they won't have picket lines for what is needed, like jobs, you know, infrastructure program. Stop the war in Syria and overseas, you know what I'm saying, to be pro-peace. Things of that nature. They won't do that. And that's what I experienced throughout this last year, especially 2 years, is just, you know, a lot of these movements you see out here is fake. And I'm a prime example of, I have a real case. You know, people are afraid to even help me with my case. You know what I'm saying? But they try to get me to talk about some statues and stuff like that. You know? I mean, yes, you have a right to protest to take them down. You got a right to protest to keep them up. They both have a right to free speech. But my thing is way important. It goes beyond race. It goes beyond sex and religion. It goes for human dignity, human safety that affects African Americans, European Americans, Native Americans, Hispanics, Muslim, Christian, Jews, and atheists or whatnot. Whether if you on the left side and you think you're a communist, or you're on the right side, you think you're a fascist, or whatever. I don't care. This affect you. Okay? MRSAs, diseases, contamination of water do not care of your political stance. Okay? They do not care. So I don't understand why. I'm not hard against support of what I'm doing, but yet in a way I'm kind of understanding that it's designed like that you have paid shills, provocateurs that's out there that'll make sure the real stories don't make it to public eye, that will make sure that the real stories people won't get up in arms about in protest. Because you're always going to have a certain type of group to make it a left-wing thing or a right-wing thing. And it's not a left-wing thing. It's not a right-wing thing. It's a humanitarian thing. We got vets that need to be taken care of. We got U.S. citizens that need to be taken care of. That's what it's about. And all this little stuff you seeing out here, this racial stuff and this religious stuff, that's important, but that's not that important. We gotta put our priorities. I feel to believe, this is my opinion, we gotta put our priorities in order. Clean water, better infrastructure, protecting people, human rights, right? Then the other things you can worry about later, which I'm not taking away from. But we gotta put our things in order, And be honest with you, man, by me writing Trump and writing the different senators, it seems like the people that help me out the most seem like the people that's leaning to the right.
Yeah.
And Bill Cassidy is a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you one thing, he run again, I'm voting for him. I don't give a damn. I'm voting for that man. I'm like, Bill Cassidy, vote for him. He look out for the vet. I just hope Bill Cassidy see this case through. I hope they didn't get to him or anything like that. But I hope he sees the case through.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, I hope he does too. I think we have enough here. We'll wait for a minute. I hope I wish you best with the case. I hope it comes to fruition. I hope somebody comes through it. I hope this helps. Do you have any information that people that can contact you? So if they have any information, or they might want to contact you for more interviews or anything like that, you can go ahead and give it to the people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, you can contact me on Twitter. My username is Reefy00. That's REF as in Frank. EE00, or Facebook, Tarref Simon, TARREF Simon, SIMON. And you can show me some, give me some love by, maybe sending a journalist my way, a radio show host, who to write to jump on the case. I write to everybody. I wrote to the Young Turks. I wrote to InfoWars. It doesn't matter. 4chan people, Bernie Sanders people. I write to anybody, because this is a human issue. You get sick and stuff like that. All your politics go outside the door. And you gotta nurse yourself back to help. And I'm one of those whistleblowers that's trying to do my best to protect our human rights, our civil rights. So show me support and spreading the message around this podcast. Share it with y'all friends, family members and other veterans and organizations and newscasters and whatnot. Share it with them. Don't let my story die, or any other whistleblower story die. The reason why our Constitution is still going on strong is because of people like me. Because of Edward Snowden. Because you have fearless journalists like Greenwald. You got fearless people like Alice Jones and Uncle Hotep. Make America great again. So that's why this country is still. We can lose our rights if we don't stand up and say something about You know, I mean, every once in a while, you're going to have somebody come out and blow the whistle. Or they're going to take your rights from you bit by bit. And what they do is they go against people that nobody likes to make the example out of them, right? Then they spray the new laws against everybody. You know, that's what they do. You know, but yeah, my name is Tarref Simon. I'm a whistleblower. I worked at Michael E.D. Baking for 2 years, for a total of 4 years. And the water is contaminated. And I don't think they put a filter system in. So I need y'all, if y'all don't mind, to share my story with your family and friends. Okay. You know, right now that's all I got on tap, man.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the interview. We got some great material. I'll let you know as soon as I put this up.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless.